Taking an L, we've all done it in our lives. Unfortunately, things happen, but a loss ain't a loss. Remember, it's a lesson. Appreciate the pain, it's a blessing. Welcome back to another episode of M.V.P. TV. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your busy days to click and watch this video. Please subscribe, that's what's gonna help me build. This is still something new, promoting myself and talking about to subscribe and like, because like I said, for me, I've made this channel to bring myself out of my comfort zone, to talk about mindful, valuable perspective. I know that things and experience and moments in life have made you into the person you are today, that if I've gone through it, most likely you guys have gone through it. Please subscribe though, if at the end of the video, if you guys found some value. Today in this episode is a message that at some point in our lives we're all gonna need. Let's talk about losses. Losses in life, we all deal with them. Majority of the time it's a loved one or somebody that we love that we lost. Could be a job, especially nowadays with this coronavirus going on. A lot of people have unfortunately out of work right now, a loss of friendship, a loss of a career. It could be any type of loss. The main thing is grief. We feel some deep sorrow. How are we gonna get through this? What are we gonna get done? Grief is just another emotion that makes us human beings. At the end of the day, a loss is unavoidable. Majority of the times before, I would push to the side and I would just try to move on. Grief is a choice and you must embrace it. If you don't embrace it, you deny it, you hold it in, you pretty much are building that up. It's unhealthy. There's this quote in this message that I heard the other day, and it makes so much sense. It said, "There is no life without change, and there is no change without loss. There is no loss without pain. Grief is a choice." Grief is just part of another spiritual growth, because you have to understand that this is also a spiritual world that we're living in. The vibes, the energy, the frequency, the vibrations. For instance, when an animal, a gazelle, they feel that the lion's gonna be coming up and eating them, so they're not just gonna stand there and wait for the lion to come and devour them. No, they feel that instinct to run away. But us humans, the greatest thing that we have is that we have a conscience. We have instincts, but we also have a conscience where we could decide what are we gonna do and control around our areas that we can. Grief, once again, is unpleasant, but I've learned on how to cope with it. At the same time, it's not easy. It's not easy, but I guarantee you it's gonna help you out transition into the next part of your life. I've also heard that if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Challenges, yes, they come and go, but you have to learn how to change and grow through them. And I've talked about it before. We all go through shit. Trust me, we all do. It's 2020 and we're all are dealing with the same thing, with the same emotions. And I've learned from just building myself up, from self-awareness. Revealing your feelings is the beginning of healing. Grief, it sucks, it's shitty, but you must learn how to embrace it. To not grieve is a big mistake. You have to learn how to use that emotion to your benefit. Just like a thought, a negative thought, you could easily just recycle it into a positive one. You have to learn how to do so. For me, I use the gym. I use the gym to go ahead, and in those 2 hours that I'm in there or so, I'm using that energy from grieving, from being sad, or whatever anger it may be. I'm in the gym for those 2 hours, just focusing on myself. Those 2 hours are for me. That's my way of coping with things. I'm not saying that you should do it, but if you want to learn more about that, comment below. I'll also, make a video on how fitness saved my life. But like I said, I cope with it. We all cope with it differently. If you have an activity, if you like to read, use that grief and let it out, but also use that energy to keep moving. Don't get stuck. You don't want to be just thinking day in and day out about that loss. Move forward. Take one step at a time. I've learned that one small hack to your brain could make a big deal. Real quick, if you wake up every day and write 3 things that you're grateful for right before you start your day, I guarantee you your day will be better. Another way that I've also learned how to deal with grief and what I'm going through is just with community, with fellowship, with friends. Trust and be around those friends that are going to be able to hear you out and for you to express yourself, to let it out, because you can't just hold that in. You want to be around friendships that are going to hear you, and sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes at the end of the day, we all just need somebody to just hear us out, like venting. You heal from what you feel. If you let it out, maybe that person is also going to be going through it, and you guys could both go back and forth and just give each other ideas on how to get through it. I go through it as well. I'm just the same as you guys, and I make these videos once again to help you guys on ways that have helped me. I understand these feelings and these emotions are part of us, and that they make us. us. We have to learn how to control them, how to use that energy into something better. And one thing that I've learned that also as well is that grief, it takes time. It does not have a certain specific time slot. It takes time of its own, and you can't rush the process. All you could do is trust the process, okay? Because grief, like I said, you'll never ever forget it because it's part of your story. You learn how to cope with it. There are seasons in our life, and I talked about it in my recent video on Let Your Light Shine, that, you know, there's gonna be seasons in your life where you're gonna have happy chapters, sad chapters, and our life is like a book. You know, sometimes you gotta go through that chapter, and at the end of the chapter, close it, and then move on to the next chapter of your life. The same thing with grief and emotions and other things that you're gonna go through in life, because there's gonna be a different type of loss. Once again, you go through those feelings, you go through the emotions, but you just get better. Don't get bitter, just get better. And once again, man, grief, like I said, I also make another video on how to, you know, specifically the tools that have helped me. But I talk about it in my 5 mental things that I do on a daily basis that help me, you know, keep my mind right. Like I said, the main thing that I wanted to get to you guys and my point across this video is to, you know, accept grief, you know, accept that feeling, accept that emotion, but don't get stuck. At the end of the day, don't quit, don't stay stagnant, because once again, once you stop, you know, fighting for what you like, fighting for what you want, automatically the things that you don't want will take over. And that's just facts. You know, you gotta keep working on yourself daily. Every day that you wake up, it's a new day. You know, whatever happened yesterday, it's in the past. Don't dwell on it, because the more you dwell on it, the more you're just gonna keep falling into that trap of the grief, of sadness, and we don't want that. You're gonna fall back into that pattern where you're gonna be back to square one. And it's all right, because I've been there before, but square one, you keep moving forward. Even if it's little steps, trust me, those little steps will build up. You know, consistency compounds. Consistency is the key. Consistency will give you results. So remember, guys, you know, whatever you know are dealing with, learn how to deal with that emotion at the moment. And like I said, it's gonna take time, but I definitely could tell you guys that the more you work on yourself, the more you deal with these emotions and feelings, the more better you'll feel. Because once it happens again, you'll be like, oh man, I've had a similar situation through this. Okay, what do I gotta do to get myself out of that situation? And you gotta be your own hero at the end of the day. You know, we have friendships, yes, but at the end of the day, nobody knows you better than yourself. And you guys and I know that I have my own internal battles with my thoughts, doubts, self-beliefs, and that's why I just keep making videos to help you guys know that I'm also going through it. You know, you're not alone. And I thank you guys once again for watching this video to the end. If you guys found some value, make sure to like, comment below, don't forget to subscribe. And once again, guys, don't get bitter, just get better. I'll see you guys on my next episode of MVP TV.